outstanding stones that the professor of Australian Archaeological Society in 1939 claimed was Australia's Stonehenge and was the oldest religious temple in the world. And there he claims, guess what, here's the word again, this is not from me, it's from the guy who was the president of the Australian Archaeological Society. He claims that there he found the first language ever recorded. And it's exactly the same as what we found between the glyphs. And he was able to, in 1939, get in contact with elders and people of the first language, and he got a complete translation of that language. Now, this site was only around for 9 months, because when it was found out, everyone got incredibly excited because it was what it was. There were thousands of cubic metres of stuff that had been moved there from at least 20, 30 kilometres away. Everyone couldn't work it out. But in 9 months, the Australian government officials approached the farmer and threatened to take his farm away. So the next day, the farmer's son went out and destroyed the site. And that site did contain the very first map and stone arrangement and markings that tell us a story about our past. And according to him, not me, he said the stone arrangement contained all the information about our past, what is, and what will ever come to be. That's how deep what was written there is recorded. And Slater, the top person in this country, the expert on Egyptian stuff that was paid by the Australian government to work for them, actually had that translation.
Will we ever find out what it said?
Do we ever find out what it says? The answer would be most definitely, because I actually know what it says, because I managed recently to get a hold through the Brunswick River Historical Society. They contacted me about 4 months ago.
Huh.
And they made contact that they found Slater's papers that had been hidden in a back room. I know this is going to sound like X-Files, but these people from the Historical Society contacted me, and this is what they said. This gentleman joined them. He decided to go to the back room there, and went into a filing cabinet that was locked, opened it up, and there in the bottom was a folder with no title, nothing. I'm not lying, but that's what happened. And inside it were his handwritten notes. I've got a copy of them, and the other one is kept. There's other two, and they're locked inside a safe, because in it, it's not only the translation, but the pronunciation of the sacred language.
Wow.
That's something that shouldn't be wandering around in the mainstream press. But what we can share with you, and we have the right to do so, is interpretation. And yes, I do know what a lot of it says. And I'm going to tell you, people may not want to hear it because they're not going to like the truth of it all, because I've got to tell you, if this is what the first language is, and according to the experts, it should be grunting. It should be simple things. If the first language started today, it would be focused on sex, drugs, rock and roll, like reality shows. Now, if you go back then, it should have been spears, food, primal urges. No, it started at the very top. And what it's done since then, what they wrote, it's been an appalling, pummeling fall down into dark.
So you're quite convinced at this stage that there is a conspiracy covering up Australia's history, that there is plenty of evidence to suggest that we have had an amazing advanced civilization here in Australia, that this truly is going on and it is being uncovered right now?
It's being uncovered right now by others. And look, don't forget, this goes back to Rex Gilroy. He was doing this, he was doing this when I was still learning to be a teacher. He was doing this way before we were, and he's been doing it for 40 years saying the same thing. But they all vilify him and call him the Yowie man, but there's a lot more to that guy than just that. And we don't believe in all the stuff he's got. He's got evidence of ancient civilization by the bucket loads, more than what we've got. But yes, his timing is wrong. But people seem more predisposed to listen to that story now, and yes, it is everywhere there. The word conspiracy, I've got to be so careful about this rotten word, because it sort of immediately throws you in a category a little bit like little green men and stuff like that, but I don't know what else to call it. Utter ignorance of an order that's beyond Stagger's belief is possible. That could be the best that could come out of it. They could just be utterly stupid and blind and just refusing to change anything. And I'm looking on the good side there. And the most logical thing is that Well, since the December the 10th, 2012, really hard not to think it is something like that. Yeah. Yeah, as much as I hate to say no, I mean, yeah, last time we were out on board, helicopters flew over 8 times in a row, directly above us. We're in the middle of nowhere. Do I think that there's a camera in the front of the helicopter? Yeah, we saw that too. Are they taking pictures of us because we're going out in the bush again in the national parks? Sin of sins? Probably. I mean, is that part of it? Possibly. But did they actually take our stuff off there? Definitely.
Yeah, the media is certainly compliant in that. Well, if it's not a conspiracy, I consider it as a planned agenda to keep people's spiritual growth at an all-time low. Because the more we grow, the more we learn, and the more we find out, the more we become empowered by ourselves as human beings to realize that we're a part of this world, and when they damage the world, they're damaging us.
Exactly, and that's exactly what this is about. Now, you've actually summed up perfectly what this is really about, and that's what underlying all this, as I said before, they don't want us to find our true heritage and where we came from because it would question where we are. You see, people always say we are a sum total of what we've done before. Now, I'm sure you and most of your viewers believe in the story of reincarnation. So what we are right now is a sum total of all the history of our past. Well, how can we make a judgment about ourselves if amongst all that legacy that we should have inside our soul, our rational mind is saying, oh, don't think all that rubbish, it's not right. And it's arguing every time we have an insight like that, getting in the way from where we should be. And we keep being told that we're just a beast that came out of the jungle and we're a nasty piece of work and you get in our way and we'll cut your head off and that's okay because we've always been that way.
Yeah.
Look at the chimps. 99.9% of the time they work as a cooperative group. Can we claim that? And some people use the chimps. They go to war a bit and sometimes they eat meat. And it happens every now and then, yeah. Sometimes. Occasionally. With us, really all the bloody time. Look at our history. What is it? You go to school and what do you learn about if you learn about our ancient modern history? Yeah.
Well, schools today are teaching compliance. They're teaching...
lies about our past and where we came from.
That's right.
I mean, I actually was working. At one stage I was working for the Board of Studies writing, and I had an argument when I was asked to come back and write for the Board of Studies. I said, I can't do this anymore. There's a real history here. We should be putting that in. They wouldn't do it, so I just left them. Had nothing more to do with it. They just weren't going to listen. Even though I wasn't at that early stage, we had a lot of facts and a lot of elders on our side that were just not going to put that in under any conditions because it doesn't fit in
to their agenda.
Compliant, unquestioning society.
Yes.
I want to be lied to.
It empowers too many people to ask questions.
Yes, we don't want that, do we? We don't want people learning the original alphabet. C means a light going out. Well, at the moment, they're trying to block that light. It's the letter E. It's our first, it's a very simple sign of the 190. I'm just talking about one simple letter here. At the moment, they're trying to block that light. And we're not even talking about a combination of words. It's that simple. And that's actually what our kids should be learning about in the schools. They should be learning about, this is what we're like, eh? A bit different from the story we've got about the last 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6,000 years. I actually prefer this story more. It looks much more honourable, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Much more.
It's much more human.
We don't want people thinking like that, do we?
Well, Mr. Strong, thank you very much for your time and your company. You've been very, very insightful and amazing. You've got some incredible information there, and so glad you're getting it out to the people because this is the time where people need to start asking questions. How did they get authority? Who made that shiny badge, and who gave you the authority to take away my freedom?
Very good. Who made that shiny badge? Don't trust them, whoever it is. Very good call.
God bless you, sir. It's been fantastic talking to you. I hope to catch up again soon with an update.
Pleasure. My pleasure, and I hope we can again.
Indeed. Bye for now.
Bye.